Train, study, work, repeat. The LUNEX Unfiltered podcast on balancing sports, studies, and internships. Hello and welcome to LUNEX Unfiltered Train, Study, Work, Repeat podcast. And in today's episode, our guest is Paulo Sousa, who is a football player playing for Luxembourg under-21 team. His current team is UN Kerzheng 97. Paulo studies sport and exercise science at LUNEX. Paulo, thank you so much for coming today.
No worries. Good morning.
So we're talking football, so I think that will be one of those episodes where we'll be not discussing the basics of the sport, because I assume everybody knows already, right? But we'll start with the beginnings, as I like doing whenever I'm interviewing. So do you remember the moment when you said, yes, I want to kick the ball all the time, football is for me?
Remember, no, I have some pictures at home. I was very, very young. I'm actually a bit of a late bloomer. I started playing football in Bertrange, where I live, only with the Poussins, which is actually like 8-9 years old. So pretty late. I have friends that started with 4 or 5. But at home, I was always already kicking the ball. I remember having pictures with my dad and everything, where he throws it or rolls it to me and I'd start kicking it, even videos and everything. So I don't have memories of that, but I know that I started really young. And I think my love for the game really grew when I was watching football with my dad on the TV. He was also a player when he was young. So I think that really motivated me. And then one day just started at Bertrange.
It's interesting that there's always a little bit of a family connection going on, right? It's either parents who somehow pass on the passion for maybe even watching, not necessarily playing it, or actually they are somehow maybe not professional players, but there is something going on, right? Like that. So why didn't you start at 4 or 5?
I think that was a decision from my dad. He likes to have some type of control. And I think he wanted to instill the basics in me and really just have fun, because he didn't want it to be a systematic thing instantly. So we really just started at home just for fun. And when he saw that I had the level and that I really wanted to play with other friends, he said, let's go, and put me inside.
Okay. How is it learning from your dad? Was it a nice experience or not?
Very hard.
Exactly. Probably he was very demanding, no?
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, it was one of those where a lot of vases were broken, a lot of things on the walls, and also a lot of hearts, because he was very tough. He never gave anything to me. If he had to win, he won. If I was crying for 30 minutes after, it's how it is. Like, I had to learn how to not be a sour loser. And with time, I started winning, started having fun, and a strong mentality grew from there.
As you study sport and exercise science at LUNEX, I was just wondering, do you think this is the way to coach people? Like what you're saying your father did with you, or not?
That's very ambiguous. I think it depends. I mean, some people respond to it well, some people don't. I think in the beginning, I didn't. But really grew to learn how to take it in. For other people, I think no. There's a lot of ways to coach. For me, it worked. If I was to choose a coaching style now, I wouldn't choose that. I think it's very hard in the beginning, like I said, to learn from a coaching style like that. But it also does give some strength, some mental strength that I think other ways of coaching wouldn't. But I don't think it's the most efficient, no, in the beginning.
So what is the most efficient? Now that you have also the basics from LUNEX, right? So you can tell us a little bit more what you've studied here.
I'd say a bit more of a humanistic way of teaching, of coaching, a bit more of a person-centered way. My dad knows me, so he knows very well that I don't normally respond well to people coming at me or yelling. So I think the most important thing would be to stay calm, to really just instill the basics by explaining and not just saying, oh, you did this wrong and now I'm yelling at you. Really just try to be factual and not put emotions into it, because that really sometimes brings a lot of problems for the child. Like at that point, I couldn't understand what he wanted from me because I was just too much in my feels. So yeah, I'd say just a more, how do I say?
Empathetic
way to really deal with me. Yeah.
In one of our episodes, we were discussing, coaching styles and approaches and the fact that first you do it a little bit with intuition, but then actually when you're here at LUNEX, you learn, the intuition is cool, but there are better methods than that, right? So it's good to be here and learn that properly, right?
We had that lesson here at LUNEX, and I was really surprised to see like a lot of people actually are like how I think, because I thought the way my dad coached and everything, I've seen it at clubs I've been at and everything, and I thought it was pretty normal. But then to be actually told by some experts and people who know what they're talking about that actually what you're saying basically is what is the truth really shocked me, to be honest.
So it's good. We're going to be discussing that a little bit more as well. But let's leave your poor dad alone for now, because we discussed a lot his coaching style and everything else. And we can move on to, you are now at Bertrange. You're playing in Poussin. you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how is it going? Do you remember these experiences in the beginning?
Oof. In the beginning, it was really like, I have stories from my dad. It's like, I laugh at them now, but at the moment they weren't funny, because I remember once I had my first tournament. We were playing against a lot of teams, and my first game I was on the bench. I was subbed in, and the ball rolls past me, and I just start picking the grass on the floor, biting my nails and everything. And my dad just yelling at me, "Yeah, what are you doing? No, no, no." And I couldn't do it. I was too stressed. I was not focused. Got taken out. Cried on the way home. And then things just started going from there, to be honest. I started like learning, started really getting into the sport and really what I had to do. And it really just blew up from there, like for Poussin, Minium and everything. At some point, scolaire, around that age, very young. I was like 11, 12. There was a coach from the federation whom I really put a lot of love towards, because he was always there throughout my whole journey. His name is Marco Barone. He really saw me and talked to my coach, my dad, and said, "We want you to come." I had some tests there, and then I was taken instantly.
And this is also interesting, that there's that one person that kind of determines, especially when you're taking it professionally, that sees something more in you and then takes you there. So what was it? Was it more kind of a friendship or coaching with him, mentoring, or just choosing you? What was the most important thing for you?
The most important for me in the end, if I look back at it now, is really, I have to say it again, the coaching style. He was very like person directed. He really cared about the person, the human. He didn't just put pressure on us as an athlete and you have to do this and this. For me personally, I think he understood me very well, and he instilled a lot of confidence in me. I had some problems as well with confidence and really believing in myself, and he was the one who, when we were younger, he was the coach of the third team. We had 3 teams in the same age category. I was with him. He put the captain's armband around my arm and put me in positions that I really wanted to play. I really grew from that and gained a lot of confidence, and in the end, second part of the year, I was put in the first team, played in the first team with the coach. So really grateful to him, and also to my dad. I'm talking about my dad as if he's a villain, but have everything to owe to him, because I'm really grateful for him.
Of course, this is also an interesting point, right? That you are, in a way, not necessarily in favor of all the methods, but then they also made you who you are. It's you have to kind of question yourself a little bit, but at the same time, you know that you have a lot to owe him as well. Can you tell me how it is with positions? Because, in many team sports, there is that moment when you become one. Or is it more that someone sees, okay, these qualities are more of that position? Was it for you more choosing, I feel better there? How did it happen for you?
Positions are a tough one. I've been through every single one of them. I've played everything, even goalkeeper.
Do you think that's good to try all of them?
Yes, I think it's a very positive thing. It can also be bad. I'll explain it later. But it is a positive thing, because I feel like you really find yourself, your qualities, but also your weaknesses, which is a big point. For example, goalkeeper, I knew instantly because my right side was done. I couldn't jump. So, I think it's very important. I've been through everything. I started when the coach saw me, the federation coach. I was a left winger. At the moment, I'm a left back, but I play other positions as well. And there we talk about a big debate, which is versatility. But versatility for me also comes with things like not playing a lot, because you're not a specialist in one position. So I think a coach is always going to take someone who's a specialist in just one position, rather than a person that can play 3 or 4, right? But that's always a player that's better on the bench. So I think it's a good thing, but it's also poison sometimes. For me personally, until like the age of 14, 15, I was playing everything through left winger, right winger, and centre back. And then one coach, his name is Reinhold Preu, he was director at the federation and my coach for 4 years, I think. And he really instilled in me that I was a left back. He told me that it's the qualities, everything is there. And he really coached me and formed me into a left back, because I had not played that position until then. And something I'm also really grateful for, because it's a position I really enjoy playing. My second position that I really wanted in the beginning was playing in the middle. And I think with the game, how it's going right now, the evolution of the game, left backs and right backs are going into the middle a lot. So really grateful for that. It was a good move for me. And like I said, I play left back, in the middle, right winger, left winger, depending on the system. So positions are hard, but I feel like I found mine, and I can also be very versatile. So that's a good thing.
And why not in attack?
Well, I played in attack. I wasn't that bad, but I just feel like it's not my forte, especially because an attacker is not really defending that much. And defending is one of my qualities, as well as just technique and playing with the ball, possession. Attacker is more, not so much possession, but finishing in front of goal, which is very specific. And I didn't play it a lot when I was young, so the left back is really good for me.
I'm asking about these positions because, unfortunately, I would say that in layperson's perspective, very layperson, the only thing that people see is, of course, who scores the goals.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that feel?
Terrible. Yeah, attackers, when they score the man of the match and when they don't do nothing, we probably lose, and it's the defender's fault. It's the same thing like goalkeepers. They can be amazing for 89 minutes, and if they do one mistake in the 90th, then they've lost them the game. Same thing for defenders, especially left and right backs. We can be great all game. We can have our wingers under control. If they get through once and they score, it's our fault and we've lost the game for the team. So I think attackers, I really appreciate them. I mean, they're the ones who score the goals. They should be getting the praise and everything. But I think as defenders, it's really difficult for us sometimes to really cope with the fact that we're really good in one game, but then we do one mistake, and of course it's going to be our fault. But we take a lot of responsibility as well. I think defenders are the players with the most responsibility after the goalkeeper, and we pride ourselves on that as well.
Yeah, of course. It's, the more you know about the sport and understand the techniques, the more you appreciate, obviously, all the roles. We said in the beginning, I said that football is one of those sports that everybody knows something about. So for you, when you talk to someone who is not an expert, what is the thing that you're always annoyed or surprised that people don't know that you have to explain because they just don't get it? Is there anything like that?
The only thing I would say is a lot of people really underestimate the mental side of the game. And I think that's a really, really big part. I'm really happy that a lot of players now are coming out with some explanations and mental health struggles and things like that, because it was really a taboo for some time in the past. And I think a lot of people struggle with it that don't talk about it. And that's really sad, because we don't want to have cases where people go on and destroy their lives or really are just miserable without saying anything. So yeah, it's really tough. I think the mental side of the game is something I've had to explain to some people, even close to me, that don't really get it, because the phrase that always comes out is it's just a game, but it's a bit more than that. Still, a lot of people put their whole lives in this. So
do you think it's because there is so much money in it as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure as well. The money is one side, of course, but just the fact that imagine someone gets traded to a club or bought for a price to that club. Now there's a pressure. You've been bought. They invested in you. Now if you don't bring performances or anything, you're going to get criticized. You're going to be put to the side, and you could destroy your whole career. And the career it's already short if you could destroy it in the first transfer or anything. So that would be a bit tough. So yeah.
And on top of it, not only, pressure, and maybe you don't deal well with the pressure, but also you get injured.
Yeah.
And I know that you did get injured already in your life, which is one of the classic injuries for football players, but also a horrible one, right? What was it and what happened?
Yeah, so 2021, I had an ACL reconstruction and a meniscus suture. So I ruptured my ACL fully. Meniscus was all right. It wasn't a big thing, but I was out for 9 months for that one. Like I said, unfortunately, it's an injury that a lot of people get nowadays. I think it always also links to the amount of time people are playing now, players. It's a lot of games and everything, but that's another discussion. For me personally, yeah, it was tough. I was 17 at the time. I'd had to stop for 3 months prior to that for some heart trouble. They had to analyze some things and everything was good, thank God. But I came back for like 1 or 2 weeks, 9 months. So it was tough. More than 1 year I was out. It was really, really tough. I mean, those days where you really just want to play, be outside, you see everyone going to training, and I have to stay in the physiotherapist's room to get treated, have pain and everything. It's a tough situation to go through. I have a lot of respect for everyone who goes through it and really makes it out, comes out stronger from that, because links again to the mental side. Super tough. I mean, just seeing your muscles go away and then lifting that short and you see there's nothing anymore. To really have to build that up again, it's really difficult.
And it's a lot of work because, we don't discuss this that much. But especially if you're not a professional sportsman, you have that physiotherapist session who sends you some exercises and then you do them or not. But if you treat it seriously, if you want to do sport again, you actually have to work extremely hard to rebuild the muscles. Extremely hard.
I mean, for me, it was every day. I was working with the federation. Thank God I had a very good team by my side. Gilles Hoffman was my physiotherapist, and my coach was Karim Bispis. Also very, very grateful for him, because he worked with me every single day. He put me through exercises that I didn't even know existed. But yeah, it really worked, because I was thankful enough on 9 months on a day, I was able to come back and make my training debut or re-debut, let's say. So yeah, I was really grateful for that. But as you said, it's so much work. It's so much sacrifice as well. Good days, bad days, we all have to go through it. But yeah, I'm really grateful for how it went. Now I'm good, thank God. And thank you again for the team because they did an amazing job.
Yeah, it's great. You also mentioned that mental side when the pressure and the mental side when you get an injury and all that. Do you have any advice for people? Like, is it possible to have it all sorted on your own, or it's actually the coach that works in that case, or maybe a sports psychologist?
There's different types of coaches. I've had everything. I've had coaches that don't really like to talk. I've had coaches like Marco Borone, like I said, Reinhold Proy as well. Coaches like that really were on my side, talked to me, were open about those things, helped me. I would say the number one thing is talk to a sports psychologist. It doesn't even have to be a sports psychologist, just a psychologist. If there's things on the side that aren't going well, talk to someone who is outside of your circle, because I know also for a lot of people, it's hard to open up to things with the people that are around them. Talk to someone who's very objective, who's just going to listen to you, give you advice and help you. I've done it. I've been to a psychologist. I don't work with them anymore, but I've been there, and I think it really helped me. It really gives you insight, and they give you tools to really just get on with it, and how you can deal with pressure and things like that when they come. So I would really, really advise for any sports person, it doesn't matter if you're playing in the Champions League or in the Bijal League or wherever it is, it really helps. It's really a gift.
Thank you so much for saying it, because it's still a taboo. Yeah. It's still something that people are afraid to admit, because of course you're supposed to be tough and deal with your stuff on your own, right? The specialists are there exactly for that reason. When you got injured and you went through all these physiotherapy sessions, weren't you considered to study physiotherapy rather than sport and exercise science?
Well, I did. I was actually considering 3. I was considering sports management, sport and exercise science, which I chose in the end, and physiotherapy as well. And I think the choice of physiotherapy really was because I've been through it. I've seen not only me, but also a lot of other colleagues and team players that had other injuries and things that, because you see in the athlete's face that it really hurts them. And I'd really love to help them. In the end, I chose sports science for the moment because I think it relates more to what I'm doing right now, which is I'm still an athlete. I'm still trying to learn and figure out what's the best way for me to improve. So I think in the moment, these 3 years are going to really help me to bring my career and my physical form and everything to the next level. But I am considering doing physiotherapy still. If I'm done with those 3 years and I want to do another bachelor or something in that direction, I'm definitely interested in it.
Because we have to mention also that here you have this amazing opportunity to get a student athlete status, right? That helps a lot with combining studies and training. Because it's not like, you train, you go to some higher education institution, you say, sorry, I'm training today, I'm not coming, right? It doesn't always work this way.
I'm very grateful to LUNEX because they're very supportive in everything that we do. Not just me as a football player, or Cedric as well. We have others like the judos and other sports, whatever it is. They train a lot. They have a lot of stuff to do. They're very respectful and understanding of our situations, and they really try to not just excuse us but also help us in the best way they can. If we need more time for something or some tips and tricks, whatever, they're always there for us. If I was in another university or whatever, I don't think they would be that understanding. But the student athlete status really, I think it really helps every single athlete here to get along with not just the studies but also the sports.
And how is it to combine it? Is it easy? You go train and then you come and you fall asleep during the classes.
And we have days like that as well, yeah. For me personally, I've been through it for a long time, since under 12, so the age of 11. I've been with the federation, and the federation has training from Monday to Friday, every single day at Montarchange, where they also have a study part. So they have a professor there who helps us with homework and everything. My whole high school time, I was coming back from school, so a long day, and having to go to do homework and then training. So we've had our long days, and I'd say I'm kind of used to it now. It's still tough on some days, like you said. Sometimes we just want to sleep, but yeah, we get along with it.
So you don't regret that, I hope?
No, I don't.
Because there's that moment, maybe I've put too much on my shoulders, right?
Yeah, the question comes sometimes, but no, I'm certain of my choices, and I'm really happy about what I did and how I did it. There's nothing I would have rather done than to go there and study and then have my training session.
But you also, on top of everything, when you study at LUNEX, you also have a chance to do some internships. So it's actually adding one more brick to the whole equation, right? So what did you do and where was it?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was at Sportlycée. I was working alongside a PE teacher. His name is Maciej Komplak. I'm very, very grateful for him too, because he took me under his wing. He really showed me everything. I mean, we did everything. We did gym, we did athletics, we did cycling, we did a bit of everything. Showed me around, showed me how they work, very professional, very structured. Really gave me some insight into, if I was to go in that direction, into PE, how a very successful and well-structured school would do it. And I think it's a very, very interesting way. And I had the opportunity to be with them for my 120 hours. It was amazing.
But it's also very, very cool. You know, if you do PE at Sportlycée, then you have already chosen students, let's say. They are not the ones who will be like, today I don't feel good, I'm not training.
Yeah, they're a very special group of people. Every single one of them, they're very young. I worked with from septembre, so first years to première. I mean, I worked with everything. They're all very motivated, very athletic. I remember the first hour when I went to athletics, gymnastics and everything. It was a group of septembre students, all female. They did things I didn't even imagine of doing. The jumpings, like cartwheels, everything. They were doing everything. So they're a very special and athletic group. So it's a privilege really to work with them. But I was also warned, if I do another internship, to go to another school and to see how it is with a bit more normal, let's say, students and people who maybe are not so motivated with sport, which is also a very interesting facet of education and PE. So I'll be definitely doing that in the future.
And it's also a struggle nowadays, I would say. It's of course, we are at LUNEX. I'm interviewing people who are professional sports people. I also love sports. Okay, bubble, right?
Yep.
But the reality is such that many people just don't do anything, right? Do you have already an idea how to convince people to do more? What's wrong with the system? What's wrong with PE that somehow it puts people off rather than convince them to do some sports?
Yeah, I think the traditional way of teaching PE sometimes is just a bit monotone, let's say. It's a lot of the same things, and the professors are not always the most motivated either in sports, so they're there to do their job, which I respect. But I think it's the enthusiasm that lacks a bit. I also have to say, some students are just not going to be enthusiastic about sport. Tastes are different. I think sport is very important for everyone. Everyone should be active in some way. But we can't convince everyone. But if we can convince the maximum of people, I think that would be amazing. That would be the greatest thing. And I think Sportlycée is really on the right track to show that sport can be fun. Sport is something that everyone can relate to. And there's so many sports out there. Like you can do everything. You can do everything with a ball, without a ball, whatever you want. So I think there's something for everyone out there. Yeah, I think the enthusiasm is really the number one thing that we have to include in PE, so that they come with it and they really love the sport in the end.
It's also a question, going back to your Poussin years, let's say, that's still the moment when kids, when they join a club, they are kind of more, everybody can play, right? It's still the enthusiasm, the fun and everything. And then that kind of changes, right? Because I guess it has to. And a lot of people get dropped out and there's not much for them anymore, right? And it's always for me a question, it's very difficult for a trainer to say, okay, well, I'm going to choose on the basis of who is stronger rather than who comes to all the trainings.
Yeah. In the end, the older you get, it's going to get narrowed down. Some people are just not going to continue because they don't want to anymore. They don't have the passion anymore. Others just don't have the level for it anymore. So I think it's good that we have levels for everything. Even Luxembourg, we have a lot of divisions, a lot of clubs. I think there's a club for everyone, a level for everyone. Unfortunately, not everyone makes it to the top. Like, there's so many football players out there. In the Champions League, there's a lot of teams, sure, but the positions are still the places are full. It's really hard to get to the professional level, to the top of the top. A lot of people don't even want to get to the top, which is also good. Like, we need to have players in every division and league, so that's good. And I think the coaches that take the players in the beginning, the kids, they're enthusiastic, that's good. But I think they also have a great responsibility on their shoulders, because they can be the deciding factor if the kid is going to really adhere to the sport and how they're teaching, and if they're going to stay enthusiastic about the sport. Because I think, again, if you love what you're doing, if you love the sport, and if you're enthusiastic about it, the chances that you're going to get better at it because you're training more and giving more, they're just higher. So just for me, for example, I came to the team. It was a good coach. He was not too serious. He didn't take it like it was a Champions League final. It's just, we're here to learn, but we're also here to have fun. And I think that was really a good start for me, because if it hadn't been like that, maybe I wouldn't have stayed and would have chosen another path.
Yeah, for sure. And you've chosen, as you said, a very difficult sport because it's just oversaturated on all the possible levels. So what are your plans for the saturation?
I'm fortunate enough to be in a position where I play in Luxembourg. We're surrounded by amazing teams because of the countries, Germany, France, Belgium, everything. They have everything. So I really play in the center of Europe. Sure, Luxembourg is not the highest level, but there is some level. We have players from these countries that I just said, and even Portugal and everything, coming in to play, to showcase themselves, yeah. I think the level is growing in Luxembourg. The plan for now is always to stay with the under-21s for the federation. That's the plan, because it's like when you go window shopping, it's the highest level that I can show myself. And I think to do that, the most important thing is to stay in the first division here in Luxembourg. So yeah, the plan is to have a good season, have good performances, and at some point, make it out to another country, to the outside. I don't know which one. We'll see, but that's the plan. And then from there, just grow my career and try to really have a path where I can make it to a professional level. Yeah.
In the meantime, graduate hopefully as well, right?
Yep.
Because you are now in which year?
I'm in the first year, second
semester. First year, okay. So there's still quite some time.
Yeah.
So this is the beginning. You're just starting the modules. Mm-hmm. And so what has inspired you the most so far at LUNEX?
Well, apart from the people that we work with, the experts and everything, I've talked to all of them that we have worked with until now. They're all amazing. They've all given me tips. We had the nutrition module, for example, and I got a lot of tips and also some help for my personal nutrition from the professor, which I really appreciate. I mean, it's not their obligation. They're just there to teach, and if they want to go home after that and not talk to me, that's fine. But they don't. They really are like person-centered as well. They care about us as students as well. And apart from the people, I'd say the modules, all the content that is being given to us, I think is very valuable. It's very thought through. And I think it can really, like I said before, I think it can really help me in my personal career, my personal life, to apply it, to be better, to try and improve every single day. And I think without them, I'd be in a different situation. And I'm grateful that I'm with them, because I feel like it's gonna improve me and the people around me as well.
That's a brilliant summary of exactly the LUNEX tagline, right? We had the we care, exactly the teachers and the whole team that cares, and you succeed, right? Yeah. So exactly, join the LUNEX experience. We are summarizing that. You can really look into that a little bit more in detail, the student-athlete status and everything else that is there out there. And of course, maybe someone wants to start their football career, so they know more or less how to start, when to start, probably with the fathers if they're playing. Maybe mothers as well. Let's be, clear here. There might be mothers. I'm not a good football player, unfortunately, because I'm still that generation where girls were put, to stand in goal. So okay, you're a girl. Go do goalkeeping. That's a shame. Yeah, but fortunately it's changing. So hopefully there'll be more possibilities as well, because I do see more girls playing in different teams. And anything else, last word for our listeners about football, career, mental health, anything else that we could mention?
There's a lot, but I'd say number one thing, stay healthy, take care of your mental, because that's very, very important, mental health. And
keep training. Keep training, keep pushing, right?
Of course.
Wake up and do the training.
Yeah, do something. That's a good line. Do something.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Paulo, for coming and sharing all the experiences with us.
Thank you so much.
Train, Study, Work, Repeat is a LUNEX Unfiltered podcast produced by Silex.